don't think, but I'm sure you all can relax, maybe deal with us for some very nice interaction for the next 45 minutes to 1 hour. I'll just, introduce myself. My name is Kaustubh Srikanth, currently working with the Center for Wildlife Studies as a senior program manager for the Wild Shaale program. And do we know why we gathered here today? We know why we here. Of course, you all can see what's written here, right? Just a bit. Some growing environmental consciousness through collective action, right? So before I delve deeper into today's topic, just to give you all a bit of highlights or a brief on what CWS has been doing so far since 2018 with respect to the Wild Chalet program. So you all may be wondering what the Wild Chalet program is. Wild Chalet program is a very beautifully curated program that focuses on developing empathy and inculcating wildlife knowledge for students in rural schools around national parks and protected areas who heavily deal with human wildlife conflict on a day-to-day scenario. So that's something that we've been doing. And as of today, we have engaged more than 1550 schools. And we've engaged close to 69,000 children across these parks, across 5 states in the Western Ghats. That's Maharashtra, Goa, Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. There's one very interesting story that I would like to share, which my colleague Sahil, who was there in the black shirt, who had shared with me yesterday. So this is about a boy whom we had engaged when we were doing the sessions and module in Megha Tiger Reserve in the year 2019. Right in 2019, there was this one child by the name Harsh, and he was, I think, in the 6th or 7th standard that time. And recently, he's finished his 12th, 10th standard. Okay, recently he's finished his 12th standard. Sorry, 10th standard. And his father calls us and tells that, you know what, Harshu, he regards him, calls him Harshu, and he says that Harshu beta jo hai na, he is now rescuing snakes. He's doing these courses, government courses, private courses to learn more about how you can rescue snakes and teach and educate people. And you wanting to go in that line of, career path, which is very unique for his community, for his parents. And they are extremely grateful that because Harshu was a part of the Melghat Tiger Reserve sessions that we ran as a part of Wild Chalet, it's inspired him so much to, try and make this difference. So that is one reason why we wanted to highlight that environmental consciousness is something that is so powerful that if we come together as a group, things can, make so much of a difference. Example, what Sarsho is doing today. And a big part of how CWS looks at strengthening, White Chalet is based on three major principles. So one is based on long-term evidence research that we've been doing. So we published three education papers so far based on the Wild Chalet program's evidence that we've collected. And the paper is titled The Challenge of Measuring Children's Attitude Towards Wildlife in Rural India. And as a part of this paper, what we've understood is that through story based and pictorial tools, we've seen about 12% increase in improvement in response quality and consistency compared to the usual conventional survey methods that we've tried to do. Apart from that, the second principle that we look at is a strong focus on coexistence and local relevance. And the third is we believe in working within partnership, within systems through partnerships. So CWS is currently partnering with NatGeo, and we've curated a beautiful set of 9 modules, which we've been cutting down. We've tried to grow all of that, covering all sorts of information around local wildlife, careers in wildlife, all of it. This is something that we've done we've translated in 6 to 7 languages. So if there's something that is of interest, you all want to talk to us, please look at how we can collaborate. Please feel free to reach out to us because we are, of course, here with a shared intent of sharing what we've done. At the same time, we are here to, learn and listen from all of you all. And moreover, the reason we are here today is to try and form a beautiful sub-collective on how they can take things forward as well. Um, so Yeah, with that, I will also just uh, uh, like to welcome all of you all formally to growing environmental consciousness through collective action. Right. Uh, Before I introduce you to our fabulous speakers, uh, there's one small activity I'd like all of you all to do. Uh, do all of you have paper and pen available with you all? No? Is there anyone who doesn't have? Then I'll ask my colleagues there, Krutika, if she can just help with the white paper behind. Yeah. What you'll need to do right now is just think of one childhood memory, takes you back whatever number of years, one childhood memory that inspired you all to get connected with nature or be more inspired by nature. Just write that down. One childhood memory. If you have two, mention that as well, but one for now. Thank you all for being here. And of course, moreover, all of you all, thank you for the active participation in terms of being here. Um, I have one very interesting question for our experts here, and they're going to take about 30 seconds to a minute to answer that question. So, one question, maybe I'll start from Garima, and all of you need to answer the same question. So, one question is, what is uh, an environmental issue that your organization or you are currently working on, and what is the model that you are actually using in order to tackle that issue? So if you can just highlight that.
Sure. Thanks, Kaustubh. Just to briefly tell you, I lead a program called Early Bird, which is part of Nature Conservation Foundation. And we think that birds are a wonderful way to introduce children to the joys and wonder of nature. And too often, there's a lot of the gloom and doom stuff in terms of climate change and everything that's wrong with the world that children did not have any role in creating, right? All the problems. So we try to emphasize the joy and wonder. And we also feel that nature education need not happen only in the classroom or only through teachers. Each one of us, whether it's parents, neighbors, we can make a difference in our network, in our communities. So we try to develop resources. We provide training to groups of enthusiasts, could be teachers, could be librarians, and we do some direct outreach with children. We're a very small team based in Wire.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Thank you. It's going to be tough to kind of put everything into 1 minute, but and in WWF, the challenges that we're trying to look at is both at environment and education. The lack of, or the low literacy levels in environmental sense, the lack of scientific information, or the lack of connection to local environments and surroundings, capacity, all of that. So the idea is environmental education today is more on the periphery. It's not mainstream. So hence the teachers don't have the capacity. Students also don't really understand and connect with it. Project-based learning is misconstrued as creating models. That's unfortunately that's where it is. So we're trying to make it real. We're trying to kind of connect them to local issues. So the approaches that we use primarily are three-pronged. It's creating awareness, uh, building capacities and skills in not just the students, but also the facilitators and the educators, and action oriented. So make sure it's all connected to some sort of an action or project based. So it's more experiential learning. So we work across with governments a lot. We work with formal education, and we work with youth, citizens, college students. We do a lot of work with private schools as well. And it encompasses a lot, in terms of the diversity, it's quite huge. So we try to also have what has actually helped, I think, in terms of success it's about experiential learning, encompassing technology into it, and the collaborations that you do with not just the governments but with your local partners, and achieving scale. So those are some of the things that we're doing. So trying to kind of put everything into that 1 minute. So that's where.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Sign.
Hello everyone. I'm Sai Devi. So PKTS works under two the themes itself, the environment and education. So it's been 5 years since we traveled across India to see what is that as an education as a system has been facing as a problem, and then we realized that students are losing interest in studies itself. And mostly students come to us and tell, anyway, I'm going to become an entrepreneur or YouTuber. How does it matter if I have to sit inside a geography lesson? And that's a such a fair question. So our approach is the seeing the flip side of it. If we could bring science and social science alive from the places, city that they belong to, from the parks that the neighborhood parks, from the streets, what would it look like? That has been our journey. We have been making science and social science relevant to students' life through our place-based pedagogy. We have also seen students becoming environmentally active citizens while they started to become active learners itself. So the flip side kind of worked for us. So we started working with students. Right now, we are also working with educators because a lot of school leaders also told us, what if this should be the classes that all our teachers should be taking? So we are also launching an educator incubation program for teachers to help inculcate making cities as classroom itself. This February 22nd, we are actually putting a conclave. Kindly come and see what would classrooms like this would look like. So that's my 1 minute.
Thank you, Veena.
Hello, everyone. My name is Veena. I started Media Classrooms in 2018. And the idea was to work with the idea was to work with teachers and educators to get them excited about nature and nature in their backyards. And we try and link nature learning as part of the EVS curriculum that they have to teach. So they don't look at having to, add educational components that are outside of the curriculum or outside of school hours, because most often they say they're pretty overwhelmed and overburdened with teaching as it is. So we work closely with them to co-create locally and culturally relevant nature building resources that can be weaved in as part of the EBS curriculum. We've also been starting informal collectives to get nature educators in Bangalore and in other cities and towns to get together so that they don't feel so isolated working alone. And most often people say, we didn't know there are so many people interested in nature education. So just getting them together in a public space like Garden Park has been pretty interesting to get people to just talk to each other, learn from each other, share resources. So that's what we do. We also do a little bit of research in the space because we feel like there's not much research coming from the global south. We're still taking frameworks and pedagogies from the global north. So we're trying to add to that space as well, and that helps inform our work. So yeah, getting teachers excited about nature in their backyards and co-creating curriculum with them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all experts, for your wonderful thought behind tackling issues using models that you all are currently working on. Now, I hope our audience here has heard all the answers from different experts, because now what I'm going to make you all do is I'm going to make all of you all stand up. Okay, so please, if you all can stand up, including the experts. And what I'm going to do now is Garima is going to be at this table. Rahul is going to be at that table. You can be at the table behind there. And Tina, you can be at the table there at the end. So, yes. So, all of you all have heard different answers. All of you all have heard about the issues that they are tackling on in their own way through different models. Now, what you all need to do is, maybe if you want to just take a breather, if you want to take a minute to rethink what all they have answered, you can do that, and then just head to that particular expert uh, where your thought process is more aligned towards.
Energies that were coming out. You know, people were having similar experiences, or someone has faced something with someone else also has. And so I think there's great potential for people to come together. And that was something we discussed as well, that, there has to be a collective effort. And organizations have to collaborate, bring their expertise so that people don't have to reinvent the wheel. Right? You can use what's already available, what's already known.
Well, very similar concept, but yeah, so there was diversity. I mean, we had people working in tech, we had people working on with women empowerment, we had educators. Um, the diversity was definitely there, but there was a lot of connection that I saw between the participants. People echoing thoughts of each other, people finding connections that what they thought and how the other person's thoughts could kind of come together and build something. That was great to see. That collective thinking and the whole process of it. I think that was great.
Strategically or coincidentally, I led a group of Mantra for Change people leading from different parts of India. I don't know how it happened. But interesting conversation we had was that because Mantra for Change comes from the scaled version of what would public education goodness look like. And we were thinking about from bottom to down, bottom to up, how do we also immerse educators so that there is sustained change while there is also policy intervention, which is very, very crucial for environment. It has to go both the ways because we are in cusp of starting it in India. That was very interesting.
I had a group of really passionate people, so that was really nice. Like the conversation going. Similar to what the three of you said as well, people were excited. There was not a lot of gloom and doom. When there was a little bit of that happening, people are pushing back and saying, no, but let's look forward, which was really nice. And so I think, can we really capture this excitement and this need to collaborate that people want to do? But also keeping in mind that it's not easy to keep collectives like this or some collectives or collaboration together. It really it kind of leads on the group of people who are trying to facilitate it. Otherwise, it can get a little messy from our experiences, I'm sure. So let's not wait for too long for this to happen. And if there is a group of people who think that ecology and nature education needs to really be immersed in the education system in a sustained way and in a way that we think is important, let's do it sooner than later. And organize so many organizations. So again, collectively, if we have a larger voice. What is that thing they say? The sum of the parts is greater than the whole. Right? So
Thank you so much. I think this has been a fantastic experience. All of you are coming together, putting your minds onto wonderful topics, current topics, issues, all of it. And of course, realistic challenges that you all look at overcoming through some individual actions beyond just saying no to plastic and planting trees and all of that. So I'm sure more ideas came up out of discussions. Uh, I will CWS will work closely with all the organizations and of course the Shikshabra movement to try and continue fueling this collective and maybe moving forward have some more of these close groups. Maybe and it does not need to be in a formal setup. It could be anywhere. So we will reach out to you all. We will keep it open for anyone to join in as well because we want more such collectives to happen to have shared conversations. So with that, I think I'd like to thank all of you all for being here. And before we head out of the door, moving forward with how we can continue collective movements forward, one point from one inspiring word that you can always do in case you are bump into each other. You all could always remind each other using the sound of what that word does. Okay, and maybe Sai and some of you all in the room would know exactly what I'm saying here. But it's a very beautiful bird who's a farmer's friend called the red wattle lapwing. And he has a very nice call. Okay, so something like, did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? Right, so with that, you all need to ensure that whenever you all bump into each other, you all can just remind each other, he or she, did he do it? Did she do it? Did he do it? Right? So with that aspect, I would like to close today's conversation. Thank you so much for Right. You can feel free to network with each other, ask questions. Yeah, in case you all have anything you all want to look at collaborating with CWS or want to ask any questions, Sahil is there, my colleague at the back. I'm there in case anytime you want to ask. Thank you, guys.